Welcome to the Emily in Paris recap. Emily Cooper is a marketing executive from Chicago. She takes a job in France on the Savoie after her boss Madeleine realizes she is pregnant, creating the Emily in Paris account to document her life in Paris. In moving to France, she and her boyfriend Doug try to maintain a long-distance relationship, but this seems to be too much work and they break up. At her job, she makes friends with Julian and Luke. Her new creative ideas allow Sylvie, her boss, to realize that she doesn't need to stay as a mistress to win over top-tier clients. Like Anton, Emily's account grows fast. Outside of work, she has little friends, unable to speak French, but she does meet Mindy, a nanny from a rich Chinese family. After her embarrassing performance on Chinese television, she left her dreams of becoming a singer behind. With the support of Emily, Mindy takes up a job singing at a club. She is subsequently fired from her nanny gigs and moves in with Emily. Without a boyfriend, Emily starts to become fond of her neighbor, Gabrielle. She discovers that he has a girlfriend named Camille. They become friends, and once Gabrielle and Camille's relationship starts to turn sour, due to Gabrielle having aspirations of wanting to buy the restaurant he works at, Camille wants him to take a loan off her, but he doesn't want to be in debt to her family. At one point, Emily and Gabrielle succumb to their fantasy, but they stop, feeling guilty for Camille. Gabrielle and Camille's intimate relationship ends, as Gabrielle decides to buy a cheaper restaurant in Normandy, meaning he will have to leave Paris. Seeing as this is the last time Emily will see him, she decides to see him one last time. At work, Emily is able to land the fashion icon Pierre Cardin. They face backlash from a publicity stunt by Grayspace, making Pierre lose confidence in the product, resulting in Emily being fired from Savoie. She manages to convince Pierre to premiere his new fashion line and also taking over Grayspace's event, ensuring that she earns her job back at Savoie. Emily begins a relationship with Pierre's nephew, a successful fashion businessman, and because Fashion Week went well, he invites her out on a vacation to Saint-Tropez. Once Gabrielle is about to leave for Normandy, Anton gives him the offer of investing in the Paris restaurant, now meaning that Gabrielle is staying in Paris. Shortly after, Matthew figures out that Emily had an affair with Gabriel, prompting him to break up with her. She attends the Saint-Tropez vacation with Mindy and Camille. On this trip, she meets famous fashion designer Gregory Dupri. Expressing that he is a friend of Pierre, she allows him to model Pierre's suitcase. She sadly discovers that Gregory is a former student of Pierre and a rival. This stunt causes Pierre to fire Emily and hire Julian instead. She also ran into Sylvie and discovered that she was married to a guy named Laurent, but they have a long distance relationship. Mindy decides to join a band and starts to date the guitarist named Benoit. Talking to Matthew, Camille realizes that he broke up with Emily over an affair, and Gabriel's favorite pan being in Emily's apartment, meaning that she slept with Gabriel. At Emily's birthday party, Camille confronts them. She also pulls out from Savoie, as Camille's family owns a lucrative champagne business. Trying to fix her relationships, Emily and Camille make a promise that neither of them will go for Gabriel, and she starts undergoing language classes in French, meeting a banker named Alfie. They connect over their shared interests of being terrible at French and end up hooking up. Madeleine is transferred to the Paris branch. Struggling to get along with Sylvie, she threatens to fire her when Anton's affair comes to light. They spot that Gregory had recently fired his PR team. Madeleine decides to send Emily over to try and make him a client. They orchestrate a massive event, entailing Pierre attends Gregory's fashion show. The show was so good that Pierre is going to fire Savoie. On top of that, Sylvie leaves Savoie with Luke and Julian to start a new PR firm. Emily is also offered a position at the firm. Alfie is whisked away back to London for his job. Emily decides to break her pact. She visits Gabriel to explain that she still loves him. She discovers that Camille and Gabriel are back together. She starts to contemplate the idea of returning to Chicago. Following the offers, Emily decides to play both sides, even giving Sylvie an offer from Doug. But the mech baguette falls through. She doesn't let Sylvie or Madeleine know that she is working with the other side, and it reaches a boiling point when Madeleine accidentally reveals it to Sylvie. She fires Emily immediately. They fail to poach clients due to the non-compete clauses in their previous contracts working for Savoie. With pressure from their parent company to try and find a replacement for Sylvie or offer her a deal, Madeleine has little to no options but to beg for Sylvie to come back. Sylvie boasts about this and declines their offer, until her last client, Pierre, decides to sign with an entirely different firm, JVMA. Struggling with clients, their parent company recalls Emily and Madeleine. However, Emily decides to leave the job and stay in Paris, and experience the life in Paris as an influencer. She is rehired by Sylvie for her intuitive dog filter ideas. Working at Sylvie's firm infuriates Julian. She constantly changes concepts in front of clients and steers them away from Julian. Without Sylvie wanting to hear a word of this, he accepts a mysterious offer at a different firm. Meanwhile, Alfie gets back into the picture as Anton had hired him as a CFO for the restaurant, so he stays in Paris. With Gabriel focusing on the restaurant, Camille finds it difficult for them to spend time together, so she starts to connect with Sophia, an artist. Emily catches them making out, and Mindy convinces her to not tell Gabriel about it because it could ruin Camille's relationship. Mindy runs into Nico, a friend from boarding school and also executive at JVMA. This makes Benoit jealous. Also the fact that she wants him to sell a love song he made for her to JVMA. They eventually split and Mindy starts to date Nico. Pierre leaves JVMA and signs back on with Sylvie. Emily and Nico start to become friends through Mindy, and their companies decide to collaborate. Because Pierre left their clientele, they don't want him as the fashion designer at the grand opening, but Gregory, his rival. They break the news to Pierre at a meeting. Before the meeting can even start, Pierre is hit by a car. This guilt forces them to hatch a plan. At the opening, they work their way around the floor, telling people that Pierre is actually dead, taking focus off the show and onto Pierre. He then makes his grand entrance at the opening. This only fractures Nico and Emily's relationship, ruining any future brand collaborations, and he starts to push her away from Mindy. On a soft night out, Gabriel gets wasted and confides in Emily. He believes that Camille is cheating on him, but Emily still doesn't tell him. After a short trip, Gabriel reaffirms his love for Camille and tells Emily that they are going to get married. Mindy discovers that Nico has been trying to push Emily out, and they get into a massive argument. Running into Benoit, he also explains that the love song got him into Eurovision. At the engagement party, Gabriel discovers that the restaurant quality is astounding, and they have qualified for a Michelin star. This empowers Gabriel to marry Camille, so they get married that very night. When announcing their vows, Camille stops and admits that she was cheating on him with Sophia, blaming her mother for convincing her to get back into the relationship to spite Emily. Emily and Alfie also split because he knows that she is still in love with Gabriel. Talking with Gabriel, he explains that he wanted to get married with Camille so fast because Camille is actually pregnant. This is where the story ends. Make sure to subscribe, and for more, watch this.